Ian Lindsay of Lindsay and Associates has played an active role in the local community since 1979. He has been with RE/MAX, Vancouver Island's most advanced real estate business network, since 1996, marketing and selling residential, rural, strata, recreational, investment, and project development real estate. Ian has received several awards recognizing his exceptional community commitment locally, as well as awards for outstanding performance and achievement from both RE/MAX International and the Vancouver Island Real Estate Board. You'll find true real estate professionals at ianlindsay.ca.
Peter and his dog Gracie ran through fields so wide, with dreams in their pockets and stars as their guide. Every day's an adventure under the open sky. In their world of stories, time just flies by.
Gracie's training adventure. Peter pressed his face against the living room window, watching snowflakes dance in the crisp morning air. His American Eskimo dog Gracie, her fluffy white tail wagging with excitement as she balanced on her hind legs to reach the windowsill. Peter had begged his parents and grandmother for a dog, promising to be the most responsible pet owner ever. Now he was starting to realize that responsibility was harder than he had thought. The house showed clear signs of doggy presence. There were tiny tooth marks on the corner of the coffee table, scattered bits of paper from a shredded magazine, and at least 3 tennis balls that Peter could see from where he stood. His mother had taken to keeping her shoes on high shelves, and his father had already replaced 2 charging cables for his phone that had fallen victim to Gracie's endless curiosity. Even Peter's beloved dinosaur stuffed animals had been relocated to the safety of his closet's top shelf. "Gracie, no," Peter called out as the energetic puppy started chewing on Grandma Rose's favorite throw pillow, the one with the hand-embroidered butterflies that she had made years ago. The puppy looked at him with her coal-black eyes, tilted her head in that cute way that usually got her out of trouble, and continued destroying the pillow with even more enthusiasm. Stuffing began to float through the air like an indoor snow, a sight that would have been funny if it hadn't been Grandma's special pillow. Grandma Rose appeared in the doorway, her silver hair neatly braided, and a knowing smile on her face. She wore her familiar blue apron, dusted with flour from the morning's baking session. The scent of fresh cookies wafted from the kitchen, making both Peter and Gracie turn their heads hopefully. "Having some trouble with our little snow princess?" she asked, gently taking the pillow from Gracie. The puppy released it immediately for her, something that made Peter's shoulders slump even further. "I don't know what I'm doing wrong, Grandma. She won't listen to me at all. Maybe I'm not ready to have a dog." Peter said, his voice trembling slightly. He'd wanted a dog for as long as he could remember, had read every book in the school library about dog care, and had even saved his allowance for months to buy supplies. But theory and practice, he was finding out, were very different things. His dream of having the best trained dog in the neighborhood seemed to be slipping away with each passing day. Grandma Rose sat beside him on the couch, pulling him close. The familiar scent of vanilla and lavender that always surrounded her made him feel a little better. She had a way of making everything seem like they could do it, even when it felt like they couldn't. "You know, Peter, training a dog is a lot like baking my famous chocolate chip cookies. You need the right ingredients, patience, and most importantly, love." She paused, her eyes twinkling with that special sparkle that always meant she had an idea. "How about we make this a special project? You, me, and Gracie. We'll learn together." Peter's face brightened. Hope replaced the defeat that had been settling in. "Really? You'll help me train her?" The idea of working with Grandma Rose made everything seem possible again. She had a way of turning challenges into adventures. "Of course. In fact, I have some experience that might surprise you. Before you were born, I worked with a professional dog trainer. Would you like to know the secret of successful training?" Grandma Rose's eyes held years of wisdom, and Peter found himself leaning forward to listen. Peter nodded as Gracie bounded over, sensing their excitement. She placed her front paws on Peter's knees, her tail wagging so hard her whole body wiggled. Despite the challenges, Peter couldn't help but smile at her endless enthusiasm. The secret is what I call the 3 Ps: patience, persistence, and positive reinforcement. Let's start with something simple: teaching Gracie to sit. This will be the foundation for everything else we teach her. Grandma Rose reached into the pocket of her apron and pulled out a small bag of training treats. The sound of the bag crinkling immediately caught Gracie's attention. First, Grandma Rose said, "We need to get Gracie's attention. Hold a treat like this, close to her nose, but not close enough for her to grab it." She demonstrated with practiced ease, and Gracie's focus locked onto that treat immediately. Peter mimicked his grandmother's movements and was amazed at how quickly Gracie changed. The formerly bouncing puppy was now completely focused on the treat in his hand. "Now what?" he asked, excited to learn more. "Slowly move that treat up and back over her head, and as her head goes up to follow her, her bottom will come down naturally. It's like magic." Grandma Rose's enthusiasm was contagious, and Peter found himself grinning as he followed her instructions. Sure enough, as Peter moved the treat as directed, Gracie's bottom touched the floor. The moment it did, Grandma Rose said, "Say yes," and give her the treat right away. The timing is crucial. We want her to connect with sitting with the reward. "Yes," Peter said quickly, giving Gracie her reward. The puppy's tail wagged furiously as she munched on the treat, her eyes already looking around for more. The simple success filled Peter with a sense of accomplishment that he didn't expect to feel from such a small victory. "That's perfect. Now we'll do it again and again." Remember, consistency is the key. We want to make this fun for both you and Gracie. Grandma Rose's voice held the perfect balance of encouragement and instruction. They practiced for 15 minutes, and by the end, Gracie was sitting on command. Peter couldn't believe the difference that the proper technique and timing made. Each successful sit built his confidence, and he could see Gracie becoming more engaged with the training as well. Over the next few weeks, Peter and Grandma Rose established a training routine that became the highlight of their days. Every morning before school, they worked with Gracie for 20 minutes. They started with basic commandments like sit, stay, come, but Grandma Rose made everything feel like a game rather than work. Some days were challenging. Gracie would get distracted by a squirrel in the backyard or simply decide that running circles around the coffee table was way more fun than training. During those moments, Grandma Rose would remind Peter of the 3 Ps, her voice steady and encouraging. "Remember, patience," she'd say when Peter got frustrated. "Dogs are like children. They have good days and bad days. The important thing is to stay consistent and positive. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn something new." As weeks turned into months, Peter noticed changes not just in Gracie, but in himself, too. He became more patient. When Gracie mastered a new command, his pride in her accomplishment felt even better than winning his favorite video game. He found himself looking forward to their training sessions, eager to see what new things they could accomplish together. Peter watched videos of dog training competitions on his mother's phone, studying the technique and imagining himself and Gracie performing with the same precision. Their breakthrough moment came during a sunny afternoon. Peter's parents were hosting a barbecue, and several neighbors had come over with the children. In the past, Gracie would have jumped on everyone, barking and causing chaos. But this time, she sat calmly by Peter's side, watching the activity with interest. Her white coat gleamed in the sunlight, and several guests commented on how well behaved she was. "Would you like to show everyone what Gracie has learned?" Grandma Rose said, her pride evident in her voice. She'd watched their progress day by day, celebrating each of those small victories and helping them work through every challenge. Peter nodded confidently. He asked their guests to form a circle in the backyard and then began demonstrating Gracie's new skills. She performed each command perfectly, sitting, staying, coming when called, and even doing a few tricks like spin and high five that they learned for fun. The audience grew as more neighbors noticed the show. The applause was enthusiastic, and Peter's parents beamed with pride. But the best reaction came from Mr. Thompson, the next-door neighbor, who had initially been skeptical about a young boy handling such an energetic dog. "I have to admit I was worried when you got that puppy," Mr. Thompson said, shaking his head in amazement. "But you've done an amazing job, young man. She's better behaved than most adult dogs I know. You've really proven yourself." Peter felt his chest swell with pride, but he knew he couldn't take all the credit. "I had the best teacher," he said, hugging Grandma Rose. "Grandma showed me that training isn't just about making Gracie obey commands. It's about building trust and understanding. It's about learning together." Grandma Rose wiped a happy tear from her eye, pulling both Peter and Gracie close. "And you, my dear grandson, showed me that you're never too young to be responsible and committed when you really care about something. You've reminded me why I fell in love with dog training all those years ago." That evening, as Peter got ready for bed, he heard the familiar click of Gracie's nails on the hardwood floor. She trotted into his room, carrying her leash in the mouth, their signal for one last break before bedtime. This routine, which once had felt like a chore, now felt like a special moment between them, a quiet time to reflect on their day together. As they stood in the backyard under the stars, Peter reflected on how far they'd come. Gracie wasn't just his pet anymore. She was his partner, his responsibility, and his friend. And Grandma Rose wasn't just his grandma. She was his mentor, his guide, and the person who helped him discover his own capability for patience and dedication. That evening, as they celebrated with Grandma Rose's famous chocolate chip cookies, with a special dog treat version for Gracie, Gracie lay at his feet, her white coat now slightly smudged from rolling in the celebration. "You know what, Grandma," Peter said thoughtfully, dunking a cookie in his milk. "Training Gracie taught me something important about myself, too." "Oh, what's that, dear?" Grandma Rose asked, although her smile suggested she might already know. "I learned that being responsible isn't about being perfect. It's about trying your best every day and never giving up, even when things get hard. And sometimes the best teachers come with 4 legs and a furry tail." Grandma Rose pulled him close, and Gracie immediately sat up to join their hug, somehow sensing the importance of the moment. "That, my grandson, is the greatest lesson of all. And just think, this is only the beginning of your adventures together." Peter smiled, knowing she was right. With Gracie by his side and Grandma Rose's wisdom to guide them, there was no limit to what they could achieve. As if reading his thoughts, Gracie gave a happy bark and rolled over for a belly rub, proving that sometimes the best rewards in life aren't ribbons or treats, but the simple joy of love between a boy, his dog, and the grandmother who helped bring out the best in both of them.
Peter and Gracie, the finest of friends, with tales of wonder that never end. In the pages of books or stars up above, they find their magic in laughter and love.
Ian Lindsay of Lindsay and Associates has played an active role in the local community since 1979. He has been with RE/MAX, Vancouver Island's most advanced real estate business network, since 1996, marketing and selling residential, rural, strata, recreational, investment, and project development real estate. Ian has received several awards recognizing his exceptional community commitment locally, as well as awards for outstanding performance and achievement from both RE/MAX International and the Vancouver Island Real Estate Board. You'll find true real estate professionals at ianlindsay.ca.